Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where I talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Chainsaw Man Season 1, Episode 5. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking up where the last episode left off. Denji it's the moment of truth. It's his monumental moment of being able to touch boobs. And the moment he touches them, it turns out they're fake boobs because, well, at the very least, Power had some breast pads in, so they fell out. And I guess for her, it was like, oh, I'm trying to make the experience better for you. So it's like, go ahead, you have 2 more squeezes. And he goes back. Like I said, I thought he was going to try and stretch them out. I guess that shows you how much more of a pervert I am than Denji. But also Denji's so desperate because he's also like, we later on figure out, he felt nothing. It was like, oh my God, this is the thing you've been fighting for. You nearly died for it. This is your main goal in life recently. And it's just like, yeah, this is everything. And it kind of ended up being so lackluster. And he's just like, the thing I was trying so hard for ended up being nothing. You know, it was fine, but it wasn't this special thing that I thought it would be. And he even gets to the point, and I mean, he's so melancholy about it. Understandable so, because he has a very existential crisis about it, because now it's like, what if I try to aim for something else? And what if I find myself only enjoying the chase, and that the thing itself that I'm going after, moment I actually grasp it and get it, is just, it's not worth it. It's just not, as good as the chase. Once again, it's always about the journey. It's not about the destination, it's the journey type of thing. So, but he was just so distraught and broken about it. It makes sense because this is something he could aim for now that he kind of has a somewhat new lease on life since joining like public safety and stuff. But then Makima does her thing of like holding his hand and caressing him, doing all the sensual shit she can. It's like, oh, like remember like what my touch feels like, how long my fingernails are, what my ears feel like, my lips, or what it feels like. That even if your eyes were closed, knowing what it's like if I bite your finger. And he's like rubbing his hand on her lips. And then she puts his hand on one of her breasts, and he falls back. He acts like he's about to have a heart attack because it's too good. And then, and she leans over and it's like, yeah, I need you to do something for me. I need you to kill the gun devil. And the gun devil it's I don't know if it's the most notorious, but it seems for now it's the most notorious one so far that we're introduced to. The devils. This one appeared in America like 13 years ago, and it's kind of not really being seen since then, which is interesting. And it seems like this devil in particular is the one that's tied to Aki. Not less. Those 2 scenes are probably separate because I think the scene that we saw was like in America. I don't think that was like, I think maybe I'm mistaken because like they cut those 2 scenes together, but I don't know if like maybe he was just in it because when the gun devil attacked, it set off like an attack that killed like 1.2 or something like that million people. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's kind of relating, saying like, is that just correlating like, but I mean, it just the scene of like you get that flashback with Aki and you see his home get destroyed. We got introduced his mom, dad, and his brother, and he was kind of annoyed because he wanted to spend time with his parents. Well, more so wanted to play with his dad, but his brother's always sick, so they kind of coddle him more. It's kind of actually interesting. It's actually kind of sad because I watched, Mission Yosakura Family. That was my first time like knowing that story. The main protagonist's name is Taiyo. What is Aki's little brother's name? Taiyo. And it's interesting. He had a mom and dad, and brother died. Taiyo had a mom, dad, and brother died, and the surviving sibling ended up. It's interesting parallels in that regard. Just like this is a Taiyo that's on the other end of that situation. Granted, once again, Taiyo's the older brother, and Aki's the older brother in this case. It's just interesting timing and stuff like that. But yeah, he was kind of initially annoyed with his little brother, but he's like, you know what? Go back and get your glove and we can play. Which is now it's like, it's bad enough your parents died, but there's also a little aspect of like, right, you didn't really want to hang out with your brother, but then eventually you did, and you sending him back in the house is what got him killed. At least your brother could still be alive. So there's got to be some form of guilt over that. And it's like, that's the only reason why you're still alive. And that survivor's guilt is going to eat you up, and it's probably tortured him for all these years. But either way, getting back to it, it's interesting because if you've ever watched American Gods, and maybe other stuff uses this too, but it's the whole notion of a god becomes stronger the more you believe in them. So the more people they're able to have faith and believe in them, and that strong enough belief gives them power, gives them strength. it feels like they're kind of insinuating the same thing happens with devils, or at least maybe that's the public preconceived notion. The way the conversation was had, it's not really clear on whether there's validity to that or not. Because basically it's like, well, because all the devil stuff, people started profiting more from guns because people wanted to protect themselves, and there was an increase in gun violence and the news portrayal of it. I don't know if they're saying like it gave birth to the gun devil, or at the very least it made the gun devil more powerful, because we don't really know where the devils come from. I don't even know if this series as a whole even bothers answering that question, but it makes you wonder, is it kind of like that thing of like, yeah, the more people talk about something, more something's publicized, the stronger the respective devil is for it. So the gun devil is immensely powerful to the point that they've kind of restricted gun use, and they've restricted like how much news talks about and stuff like that, in hopes of trying to weaken the gun devil. And it has this whole situation where like pieces of it fall off because it moves so fast naturally from its body, and they're basically bullets, but they're like meat bullets, and so they act like magnets to each other. So the whole thing is, if we can gather enough pieces of the gun devil into a large enough chunk, it will act as a compass and kind of pull us in the right direction of finding the gun devil. Like, that seems to be one of their top priorities right now. It's kind of their top mission. That's why I'm like, I don't know if the gun devil's probably not going to be the end all be all. I assume that's going to be like the final boss of this season, but it's probably definitely not, because the manga's still going. But like I said, that could be a later on threat, but it feels like our introduction to it makes it seem like this might be a seasonal threat, but it could just be an overall series threat, but we'll see. But yeah, that seems to be the main goal of going around killing a whole bunch of devils, collecting the pieces of the gun devil. Because the bullets themselves, the pieces do actually increase the power of whatever devil actually eats him. So that's an interesting development. But yeah, Makima saying like, if Denji himself is able to kill the gun devil, she's like, I'll do whatever you want. He's like, anything. Does that include shit? She's like, I said it, I will do anything. And she's like, do you think you're up for it? He's like, hell yeah, because plenty of people have tried, but no one has successfully gone up against the gun devil. Once again, they don't even know where it is, but it's extremely powerful. And she's like, I believe with your circumstances, you might be the one who's able to accomplish it. So he's highly motivated now. So the squad goes out on its mission. It's Division 4. I think this is all of Division 4, maybe, or maybe at least some of it. But obviously it's Aki, Power, and Denji, and the other two, and then there's also Himeneo. I'm probably butchering her name, but interesting thing about her, which makes me wonder about the other two, because we know Aki has made a deal with a devil, and it turns out Himeneo has as well. Hers is like she sacrificed her right eye for the right hand of the ghost devil, which once again, right hand makes me think of like Nero, just because of the. I mean, I'm trying to think. What is Alan's situation is like right-handed too, right? Or is his innocence is in his left hand, right? I'm talking about Alan Walker from D. Grayman. I'm trying to remember. It's been a hot minute since I watched D. Grayman, so I don't remember. Either way, it's just interesting. That's quite the interesting and unique devil that end up having your hand, and especially the right hand, which makes you wonder, where the hell is the rest of the ghost devil? Like, is just chilling somewhere? Do other people have other pieces to it? Because we saw her right eye was damaged in the flashback when it's her and Aki were put together first time as partners. I'm curious, like, has she already made a deal then, or did she make the deal after? Like, was her eye injured, and then she's like, right, my eye's fucked anyway, so might as well sacrifice it for some power. I don't know. It makes you wonder about the same thing with Aki. When did he make the deal with the Fox Devil? But yeah, like, by the time they got put together, she had already lost 6 comrades. She had already lost her partner, so it's like, yeah, she was like, don't die on me, Aki, so that seems to be, like, a constant reminder to him, like, not to. Because she has a very laissez-faire, like, boss perspective on things, where she just seems super laid back because she's trying to motivate Denji and them. Because I love that they were putting up such a fight, and Aki was like, whoa, I told you to work on your manners, and he offers them both a piece of gum, and they're like, yes sir, and fall into place. But Himeneo is like, oh, I will give whoever kills this devil in this hotel a kiss. And initially Denji's like, no, I'm gonna stay steadfast. There's someone else I want my first kiss to be with, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not gonna be tempted by you. She's like, all right, I will give you a kiss and it'll include tongue. And I love home dude on the team is like, whoa, you can't just like, a maiden shouldn't just be like handing that out all willy-nilly, trying to preserve her virtues and stuff like that. So he's very serious, but he's also motivated. The other girl is powerful yet timid, so quite the interesting ragtag crew that's kind of been put together. But yeah, Denji's like hella motivated going forward, trying to like get ready to this devil, and just, yeah. So it's a conversation of, is this team really ready, or, you know, how do they stack up? And it's like, I guess in my head I thought Aki was the leader of the team, did not realize that Himeneo is the leader, and Aki's kind of like the second lieutenant of sorts. I mean, I think amongst the crew they are because like the other dude was like, oh, I've been trained by Himeneo for like 6 months, so I guess they're more recent recruits. Obviously the most recent would be like, I wonder if Power and how long has it been? Like, we don't know. Well, we don't know how long the Bat Devil had Meowie, so we have no idea how much, like, between like Power trying to find a human to bring to the Bat Devil and her being a part of it. I even love that she's like, right, she feels like she has no obligations to anyone because she doesn't really want to fight and kill devils, because it's like, well, I already like got Meowie back, so I don't really have to worry about that. But, you know, because there's no getting away from Makima, she's like, at the very least, I'll help you, referencing Denji when he's hunting. So still got the thrill and love for battle and stuff like that, but killing devils ain't really her jam unless it's helping out Denji in that capacity, which is interesting development for that character, because she's like, yeah, she kind of got all she wants now that she's got Meowie back. The question then becomes like, will this just be as straightforward as they think it will be? First they get attacked by like a head with feet, but Power splits it in half, but it turns out it's not the devil with the gun devil's piece in it. So it's like, right, it's got to be something else here. They, like, I can't remember, I think they went upstairs maybe, and they were climbing, and then they were going from the 8th floor to the 9th floor, and then as they were talking and walking, home dude noticed, like, wait, there's a blood pattern from earlier. He's like, wait, what's going on? Wait, it says we're still on the 8th floor. So he proceeds to go downstairs, and I think the interesting thing is, I think both, maybe, I'm not sure, but it seemed like Power and Denji had kept going up the stairs and just didn't notice that they had looped back around. But home dude went downstairs and immediately was coming down the 9th floor stairs, and it's like, what the hell? So they're trapped in a hotel. I was like, ooh, that's interesting. So I was like, what devil is in this hotel? Because any hunters that have come after it so far apparently have died. So it's like, ooh, this is creepy. Once again, there's always something that kind of gives you certain vibes, and it's like, for whatever reason, this place and just the vibe kind of makes me think of Killer 7. I don't know what it is about it, but Killer 7 just popped in my head aesthetic wise. I have no idea why. It just does. Because that's, you know, because isn't that by Suda51 as well? The Killer 7 game? I think that's by Suda51, who does No More Heroes. I think that's one of his games. I could be mistaken. Ain't that like his publishing company, Grasshopper? Didn't they make that game? Do excuse me, I'm being an idiot. I'm went on a whole diatribe. But either way, I was like, ooh, I'm curious to find out what this devil is and what its circumstances are to kind of be able to, like, are they trapped in an illusion, or how is this possible? Like, can this devil just straight up bend reality becomes the question. So it could also be this thing, whatever it is, has more power because it's got a piece of the gun devil in it that kind of amplified its powers. Maybe they started on a smaller scale and now have kind of warped and are on a much larger scale. It'll be interesting to see what where this all ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.